short. Yeah, but I promise we'll make it easy. The shot looks great. We're back live. Are you sure? Because I'm getting dry mouth. You know, I cannot keep talking like this. I need a green room with water and green M&Ms, John, for crying out loud. You keep having me starting over. So welcome back. It is Facebook Live. As I was saying before, we're so happy that you wanted to see the behind the scenes. And I was joking, and I hope you don't mind, but I said you wanted to see people tripping and the little mini conversations that are going on, or John walking into the
And then I
golf
tripped
club,
on the golf clubs.
the golf club and bag that was 3 feet from him. So. Welcome.
So this is the behind the scenes of the YaJagoff podcast from On Par Now, which is in the Strip District.
In the terminal building.
If you're not familiar with what we do this as Facebook Live. Then we take all of the mistakes, we edit them out and put them into our podcast that comes out every Monday. So we good to go?
I think we're
good.
In
the meantime, while you're watching today, we'll interview a guest here, and everybody will be taking golfing practice like the George Potts over there in the background. Look at him. He just gave a bullhorn. There you go. Get it, George.
There's a lot going on, but we have no problem with you listening to our guest and then looking over the shoulders so that you can see what's going on, because we want you to come down here and try it as well.
Cool.
Ready?
All right, ready?
Yep.
Summer 22 is driving people to events and happenings, and Rorick Honda is part of that drive. Expect a Beer Here pop-up in the parking lot. Visit us at Pierogi Fest, Little Italy Days, and more.
Community is key, and we are proud to be a part of yours. As always, visit Rorick.com for all of your vehicle needs. And now we start the YaJagoff podcast from On Par Now in the Strip District.
4.
I knew you were going to do it. He had to be that guy.
So on the podcast,
that's all I know about golf, though.
This is where you'll hear a little bit of music, and then we come into and say, if you're listening to the YaJagoff for the very first podcast for the very first time, we ask that you download it, subscribe to it, whatever you do on wherever you get your podcast at this point.
Yeah, and I like what we're doing now. It's available on Anchor on Mondays, and obviously it will be on our webpage on Q92.9 because we also have a radio show there. But you can also get it from YaJagoff.com on Tuesday, where you can see all of these amazing guests, and they share it. So it's lots of fun to see their take on it.
Right. So we always talk about what was on the blog at this point of the podcast. So what was on the blog?
So you talk about, this is John's thing. Okay, so it was Memorial Day leftovers, but John does this with whatever holiday it is. If it's Easter, he's like, who has leftovers? It makes him seem like he's scavenging.
No, it's about the leftovers.
Scavenging.
It's about the leftovers that people bring into the work kitchen refrigerator, and then they leave them sit there for 2 weeks because you had leftover pasta salad. Your wife or your husband said, get this out of here.
Right. So you
take it into work, and then it becomes moldy because you forgot
John's.
it's there.
It becomes John's. That's what happens. So, anyway, John did a really good. He usually writes them all, but I helped a little bit this week. Yeah.
And you saw urban deer running around in the Brighton Heights area.
Anyone else I said this at a blogger event, and I regret it, but I said I'm not a big animal person, okay? Don't be mad. Don't stop listening. It doesn't mean I hate animals. It doesn't mean any of that. It just, all I said was I prefer children, right? Like I was more the mom of children versus animals. But the deer thing is crazy. My parents live in the North Hills, where you would not expect there to be so much wildlife, and now all of a sudden there's rabbits and skunks and deer like crazy the way we see dogs. So I was literally driving through a neighborhood, and there was a deer broad daylight, like just sitting on the lawn like a dog. So it sparked the JaGoff. Nice. Are you a JaGoff? Because you're the animal, the pet of the house now.
And we talked about our 2022 porch tour, where we take our podcast to your porch if we choose your porch.
Yeah.
4 porches will win a podcast. Yeah. It's not about us coming to your porch. It's about the prizes that you get, because we bring Ernie Ritchie sausage, Mancini bread. We bring Mary Mac Bakehouse
this year. The ugly duckling.
That's right.
Not duckling. The ugly
dumpling.
Yeah, I was like, it's a D word and it's dough.
And then we have a $100 gift card for each house from the Robinson Mall and all kinds of things.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. So we're excited about that. We're in the works with talks with Grandpa Joe's. I don't want to give I know, I didn't want to make a big thing of it, but it looks like it's going to happen, so that's exciting.
So that's it. So take a picture of your porch, your patio, your driveway, send it to us, and let us know if you want to be in on the porch tour. But there is a requirement, because you have to collect items for Zachary's Mission.
Yes. Zachary's Mission is a nonprofit that we've worked with for a lot of years. It helps families who have more than overnight stays in hospitals, who need things that are beyond like the typical hospital soap or hospital toothpaste or things like that. They're more niche, unique specialty items, so to speak, that Patricia and the gang packs in Zach packs. So whoever collects the most wins, and the prize winner is getting like this full grilled meal from a chef at his
that
porch.
chef's porch.
How cool is that?
All right.
It all just comes together. We don't make it up as we go. Psych, yes, we do.
On
this
this
is
podcast,
going to be a fun podcast.
On this podcast, we have a couple of other podcasters who have a daily podcast
Are you nervous?
new to Pittsburgh.
Are you sweaty
no,
under your pits?
I can't believe that they do it daily.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
And what was really cool was when I was talking to Megan off camera, she said, I can't believe you guys do a radio show, you know? And it's sort of funny to see like how people's perception, because you're
true.
right, that would be a lot for a daily podcast.
Yeah. And we have Nick Barilla, who you saw.
Yes, we
and
haven't
then
had him in
there's
years.
a pogo stick, world famous pogo stick thing happening
Did you
here
look
in
at the
Pittsburgh.
ceilings? Can we do it?
He offered to do it in here, but I was afraid to ask Jan if we should
Let's
bring a
ask her
pogo
now that
stick in
she's
here.
on camera.
Right.
She can't say no.
Great
Okay.
idea.
Jan, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to have you all here.
Well, we're happy to be here. You walk into On Par now, in case you can't see, and we will have some video for you to see, but just the ambiance. And I have admitted to you before we came here that I am not the golf person, but when you walk in, it makes you want to try
Right.
it. I mean, it's just
Thank
the
you.
whole ambiance. So we want to get into your story, but what was your take on walking in?
Oh, yeah, it's totally cool. Plus, the fact that it's so hot outside right now, and
Yes.
if you were out golfing, you'd be sweating like
Great
crazy.
point.
But it's super cool in here.
Thank you so
And
much,
You
yes.
can pretty much golf around the world, as we're going to talk to you, pretty much golf anywhere in the world here, right? So
170 courses to choose from. Yes, Japan, Hawaii, Mystic Rock, all over. Yes.
awesome.
What is Mystic Rock? I don't even know.
So Nemacolin,
Nemacolin Woodlands.
Oh,
Shepherd's
yes.
Rock.
Famous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that's what that was
Wait,
called.
you've never flown in your airplane down to Mystic
Oh, I
Rock?
have, but I call it something different. Yeah. I don't call it Mystic Rock.
Like Misty Rock.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so-
Jan, we love your story. I've admitted that I know a friend of yours, and so we connected a little bit earlier.
Great friend.
Yes, great friend, Terry McGill, shout out. But when you were in the process of opening this, and I believe this was one of the first places that opened in the terminal building, is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
City Grows.
That's right.
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah.
He and I opened. It was the end of February, and now they're doing many more build outs. So yeah, supposedly by the end of the year, the entire terminal should be built out. It's exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But what I found astonishing was the fact that the Strip District, as it's growing and it's so robust and so many different things for people to come do, shop and truly live, you know, you took a chance on something like this that's more niche and not as everyday needs. But my goodness, someone says your name and they're like, on par now. I mean, in a little over a year, this has become the booming hub on coming here for golf. Talk to us a little bit about what you were doing before and what made you start this.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so 31 years in corporate America. And as I went through my career, I realized that just the importance of golf and how sadly many are just kind of held outside the circle. So my space, I created a place where everyone would feel welcome, a non-intimidating environment where you can learn, practice, and play. So men are loving the top technology, but females especially, they don't feel intimidated.
That's a good point. Because before, if you don't mind, and as a woman, I guess I can say this, but it always felt when I was younger that golf was a men's sport.
Right.
Some women, but predominantly men. Are you seeing that shift change?
Definitely a shift, but finally there's a space where, I have a female pro, Rhiannon Ray. She's a master club fitter, ran club champion for a few years, gave lessons before that. My sister works here, thank goodness. She keeps everything going. So like I said, the men love the top technology, but everyone feels welcome. I've had 170 females and about a dozen men come through our beginner clinic. So 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. Rhiannon, and she's got 2 helpers. So going through the swing, the putting, the chipping, and then we do a little field trip. We go to Brackenridge and play a little scramble. For most people, they've never been on a golf course before, so it gives them the opportunity to ask any question that they have. We did it last night. It's heartwarming.
Jan,
That's such a good idea.
Is
Sorry.
there a beer
Thank you.
cart
Yes.
Jan, I asked the good questions, and then he comes in with the cart questions.
So the fact that they can golf at how many different golf courses around the world?
170. Yes.
And so what happens this looks very similar to what we've seen before, but there are different things that happen here as far as instruction.
Yes.
How do you get people to used to having their feet not even level, or just getting used to other than just seeing the green, right?
Right. So you're hitting a real golf ball with a real club into the impact screen. So yes, you can play a course, or each one of these simulators has a driving range. So it gives you all these great data points, so it can help you improve. A lesson with Rhiannon and figuring out the data that is important, and then being able to practice that and actually improve your game, it's so beneficial.
And then we found out from George that the PR guy, of course, made sure we
Yes.
knew some details.
We had to have the PR guy here.
That your putting green here changes its
right.
Undulating,
contour. Is that right?
yes. So $86,000 putting green. It's got 55 jacks under the surface with plates on top, so you can just touch the tablet, change the lie. So hills, crest, valley. A lot of people, most people, if they do practice, they're practicing on a flat surface. Then you go to the course and it's nothing like that.
Right.
So very beneficial for most golfers. 40+% of their strokes are on the putting green. So if you can practice that and shave those strokes, it's such a huge, and it's all about, let's get the score down a little bit, shave the strokes and improve. And it's so much more fun playing if you're doing well. Yeah, and then
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
who
I've
wants
got
to keep going. I suck, but let me,
let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
And then an indoor sand trap, pretty
Yes.
much unheard of. Good 6 inches of sand, shipping area. So anything that you need to play, have fun, or improve your game.
So you come down for lunch into the Strip District,
Yes.
spend an hour here. Do you see that where some of the office people come over here and spend
That's a
their
great
lunch
idea.
here?
Yeah.
Thank you. A little bit more of that because of COVID. There wasn't, the companies hadn't come back yet, but I also do private events. And so we've had almost 40 companies coming in. I've got a beautiful mezzanine space, big screen TV. You can do a presentation for your group and then come down and use all the technology. Yeah, and now the companies are back. They want to do the networking and the team building exercises.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want, they want their glass of wine, but they don't just want to go to a bar. And so, my space, I love the fact that so many people are saying it's such a professional atmosphere. So companies are kind of proud to bring clients, yet it is fun and inspiring, I've heard. Yeah, I love it.
2 words. Christmas party.
Please, yes.
Colin loves when we did that last year when we went to Fogo de Chao, and I was like, guess what we're having?
Right.
And it's Fogo. But this year, I think we need interactive.
The other thing
Yes.
for the Yinzers who complain about things, parking is not a problem here
gosh,
anymore
what a
because
surprise.
Thank you.
It used to be the gentleman out back with the cigar that kind of
Yes.
protected this parking
Oh,
lot on the
really?
weekends, right?
You're exactly right.
And
Yeah.
Yes.
but now the parking lot is paved and it's literally $5 and you get a dedicated spot and you can come either the back door or the front door.
But
like,
the good news, I validate 2-hour parking. I'm one of the few. Yes. So you're right. Slip through either end of the building. I'm closest to the 16th Street Bridge, but we all have a rash, right, about parking. Everyone thinks there is no parking in the Strip
Yes.
or it's expensive.
Right.
I'm just as guilty. I've got
But
a
you
rash
put the
about
kibosh
parking.
on that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And I have equipment. You can borrow, you can bring your own, absolutely, but I wanted to take those barriers off the table because, Rachel, if you've never played before, you're not going to buy clubs to see if you like this.
Correct. Yeah. Well, ironically, a quick story. My son, my 19-year-old, came home from college, and Colin Chamberlain, John's son, likes to golf. And so my son was like, I don't know if I should go because I've never golfed.
Yeah.
Well, twice he's gone smitten. So now I'm like,
Yes,
oh boy,
it's
I guess we're
addictive.
getting into this. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
addictive, yes, definitely.
I
And to
mean-
your point about the Christmas party,
Yeah.
yes, we're BYOB. You can bring food. I had a guy bring a crock pot the other night. He was sharing with everyone in the bays.
Yinzer night Yinzer United on par now.
YaJagoff golf night.
It's Kabasi and
yeah.
pierogies.
I think
oh
that's
my gosh,
it.
That's
We
an
have
awesome
to. And
thing.
YaJagoff beer.
And YaJagoff beer and our
Nice.
people.
Jan, this is awesome, and we have other guests. The cool thing is your marketing guy is back there. And he's chatting them up back there, George.
I love that people talk
and,
to her on their way through.
Yeah, and so when we go to talk to them, we want to hear what their experiences was. So we might ask you to interpret some of the bad golf swings that we're seeing behind you. But where does everybody find you online?
Yeah, onparnow.com, the website. I've got a custom app you can download to your phone on Par Now. Give us a call. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah.
I think we should also make a point that it is not a franchise.
Correct.
This is
Thank
locally
Right.
owned.
This was her
Yeah.
gig.
Just me.
I love it. Just you. It's amazing. I'm so glad.
Thank
Question of
you.
the day. This is where it get nervous. Start sweating.
Oh, geez.
This is the coveted. What is the saying that you're known for? So John and I will critique each other when we're talking. If we're on the radio, if we're on the podcast, we'll say, "Oh, I said that again." He always goes, "Right." Like that's his thing. Like he'll say "right" or "There
my-
you go." There you go. That's his thing.
It's my
Or I
crutch
say,
word.
"God love you." It's just what I say. Do you have one of those isms? Colin's laughing.
Failure is not an option. I
Oh my
say
gosh.
it.
Of course that's
like,
yours.
Okay, yes.
We
in
all
my
say
head.
stupid things, and you have this
No.
like profound thing. Forget it. That's not the question of the day anymore. No, that's a great one. That's words to live by for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jan, thank you so much. And we want you to give pointers to whoever's back there. I know Colin has a couple of questions, so if you want to.
Excellent.
Or not. He's just taking photos.
He's gonna be
All
shy.
right.
He could probably give me pointers.
I don't know about that. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
about that.
think-
But next
Nice.
up is Meg and Morgan from CityCast. We're
That's
excited to
it.
chat with them.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You did awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're great.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're on, but they're not.
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't
We're
really
good.
hear us.
We're good.
They
No,
can
you're
hear
good.
you.
You guys make it so easy.
Thank you so much. You guys can come on right here. Sit right there.
Oh yeah, the mic. There's a mic there and a mic there. Perfect. That's what. Toenails look great.
Thank you. I know.
If
All
you
right.
don't want to sit, you can. Are you good together? Yeah.
Yeah.
cool. And your mic
There's a
is
mic right there.
fine. We're cozy.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you are.
All right, so you're watching behind the scenes, and when you're listening to the edited version, you will have heard Nick Barilla. So we're listening to Nick Barilla, who we're going to talk to at the end of the podcast. But we have a pairing.
Well,
of
he started
guests.
talking, and we were like, Nick, not yet. Okay, you're not that guy yet.
Right.
But
we have
yeah.
a pair of guests now. First of all, they're from CityCast, all right? But before we even get to know anything about CityCast, we have to know, what was your golf experience like over there behind
you
us?
golfers?
We
Like,
watched
oh,
you.
Not at all.
For those
Not
of
at
you who are listening to the podcast, you could have seen them on Saturday on Facebook Live attempting to golf. So tell us how that
He said
went.
attempting. I'm sure you were good. Right
No,
out the bat.
attempting is a good
Yeah,
description of it.
it did not go well.
Have you ever like held a golf? I've never.
No.
Like,
Four
okay.
times in my life, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a spoof at a golf course for something we were doing for social media. And it was a spoof because I literally did not know like hand placement, none of the above.
Oh, they
so.
just had to teach us, and we both
Yeah.
whiffed it at least once.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's over. Now you'll be pros. It's all
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
I was telling them I've done like so many golf commercials. I'll shoot like a lot of golf commercials here
Okay.
for Golf Galaxy, and I have no idea what I'm doing, and I've been exposed.
Listen, you looked more familiar. Is that it? You're that person? You've
No,
been on
I'm
golf-
not. I'm not in them. I just
Okay.
I produce them.
Oh,
but
because I was going to
it's
say
still
your face
a
looks super familiar.
Yeah,
Not that
no.
I'm a Golf Galaxy person. 'Cause
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't golf, but nonetheless.
No, Morgan makes the magic happen behind the scenes.
yeah.
Yes, I know.
And I
Well, I
still
knew
don't know.
that.
I'm always like, yes, that's the club that we need for this shot.
You just
And like, I
wing
have
it.
no idea. Yeah,
gotcha, I
yeah.
gotcha.
Know all the merchandise and none of the technique.
Okay. Okay. So John's, I think, figuring out some tech stuff. So you ladies talk to us about CityCast because we want to know, podcast, as we always say, did this dip, right? It was this roller coaster where they were here, then they were gone. We admit Pittsburgh was behind the times. We're getting there. We're always like
We're
chugging,
always-
you know.
It depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask. That's true. But what is it about? What was the behind the scenes, the need for CityCast?
Yeah, I mean, CityCast is a national company, so it's
But for here.
Yeah, so we're CityCast Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh is the fifth investment in a much longer term strategy for the
Okay.
company. Yeah, so they started in Denver and Chicago in March of last year and had really good success. So they've since opened it up to Salt Lake City, Houston, Pittsburgh was number 5.
Okay.
And DC and Philly are not far behind. So Pennsylvania is going to be blessed to have 2 cities represented in CityCast.
But we'll be better.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of course.
and before Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
absolutely.
you
That's-
know,
yeah.
you
No,
have to
no.
have that.
I mean,
That's
I
really-
think they were looking at cities, right, like that had a little bit of a dearth of this kind of medium, as you
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
And could
Which
probably
is
get a following a little bit quicker
You think?
than like a Philly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
true. Yeah. But it is true because I think there are parts to our city that really are behind that we struggle. And sometimes we are a tech hub, but not necessarily when it comes to a media, platform. So kudos to you guys because you're right. It happened what seems like quickly. Does that seem like it happened quickly for you to get followers, to get listeners, that kind of thing?
It's kind of, I think, a little bit of both. Something that we've experienced in particular is, we have a daily newsletter. It launched in January, and then we have a soon-to-be daily podcast. And the newsletter growth has really just been tremendous. And our engagement rate beyond that is kind of the thing that we've all been floored about on the team.
Yes.
Now, a ton of that is credit to our writer and editor, Francesca DeBecco, formerly of The Incline, if you're familiar with that. She's just wonderful and so engaging with her own audience. But it's also, a credit to the journalists in town and all the wonderful folks that are contributing to our media landscape that, maybe didn't have the advertising and things like that they always needed to get those great stories out there.
Yeah,
So you're go ahead.
I was going to say Pittsburgh's such a supportive city.
Agreed.
That I just kind of feel like people have really gotten behind it and been like, this is something that we need. This is something that we haven't had. And so it's been...
And that helps the balance, I think, because where we lack in knowledge of how to kind of get things going, you're right. We are more like, well, this is a Pittsburgh thing, so let's make it work. Yeah. I agree.
Small but mighty.
Yeah.
It's a
there you go.
completely new delivery system for news because, as we know, this podcast goes out every week. We have 3 or 4 guests. We're kind of fluffy here. We have some fun. We go golfing, things like that. But you guys, CityCast is going to specifically focus on news every day, right?
Yeah.
And
I think the original inception, the way it was pitched to me in the early conversations with what we call HQ, it was a little bit like the Daily, right, from the New York Times.
Yeah.
I would say as a company, and certainly with Morgan on the mic most days, we're a little more fun than the Daily.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think we generally hope that nothing blows up daily, that we have to, scrap essentially what we've had planned.
Until the bridge collapses, of course.
Yeah,
Right, well,
yeah,
right.
yeah. But it's Pittsburgh, so
Right.
anything can happen.
You don't know. That's
Yeah.
right. So for
It's
your
very
roles,
conversational,
though,
yeah.
That's a good word. That's what I was going to say. I think people, speaking from me, I'm not assuming this was for you, but people thought that starting a podcast was simple, right? And there wasn't.
And it can be. Yeah, it's very
can be.
democratic.
Correct. It can be, but there is work that goes into it. There's a script, there's a theory, there's a routine.
Yeah.
I think without that, it just becomes, well, what is this? And people aren't as willing to get behind. What are the things that you're learning, even though it hasn't launched specifically yet, what are you learning, or what is your goal to kind of get to so that does become so cohesive?
I think one of the things that we learn are the people that we have here to talk about certain topics. There's so many people that are so knowledgeable on so many things.
Yeah.
But I also know that when you get certain people on your podcast, just because they're knowledgeable in something doesn't make them necessarily the best guest.
Sure. Yes.
Right.
For a podcast.
Wink, wink.
You wink, wink.
Yeah.
Look, we're all there, and so I think that's one thing that we deal with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think just trying to find folks that are in our orbit that, can speak to, especially a younger audience, because I think that's sort of what we're tailored for, is more for the, 20 to 55-year-old range that looks at news in a different way, is ready for a different medium, and wants to not necessarily it's less information pumped at you and more hey, we're learning too, alongside you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think having guests in general gives that impression, because I think journalism, I come from the Tribune Review.
Same, actually. I think everyone in town at some point worked
somehow.
adjacent
Yeah, there's some
to it.
connection in some way. But I think that there was this you're the only one who knows. What made me the expert? I simply did some research and wrote a story. So how does that become, the only medium? Whereas now you're giving that opportunity to someone else to say you're a subject matter expert. Right. But to your point, and I'm sure you agree, what you might know, the other person might not. So that share is so valuable that I think people realize that and appreciate the fact that you're willing to give the spotlight to both.
Yeah, I feel like that's where like a lot of really good conversation points come from
Yes.
in our podcast is like where, you know, someone who's a little bit more naive meets somebody who's a little bit more, has a little bit more wisdom. So,
Yeah, and we try to be humble too. Like there's, you know,
Right.
we prepare, we do our research, we do a lot of homework, but there's a lot that we miss. And sometimes, you know, stuff just occurs to you in the moment and you're like, well, wait a second, back up. How did that even become a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So
I
do you
think-
guys consider your podcast, the daily podcast, a news aggregator where you're reading news and then you'll have somebody from the PG or the Trib or whatever news outlet on your
YaJagoff.
podcast? Or is
Comment, absolutely.
Or is it more of that you're doing the research and delivering it based upon, you know, you've gone out and interviewed somebody
That's a good
involved
question.
in the story?
How about I said that's a good question?
Yeah.
You did. What's up?
I love it.
Okay,
Oh,
left me
it
hanging.
left
She
it
left me hanging.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone on the team, for example, has an individual project or piece that they are just in love with. And that
Okay.
might take 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks to develop.
Sure.
There's one that everyone's been very kind that I've been working on for 6 months that we're going to hopefully launch around when we go daily. That'll be one of the first
you
things
keep
you hear.
teasing that.
I know, I'm
That's
very
really
excited about
unfair.
it's very good.
it. Morgan knows a lot.
It's very good. Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever,
But
Morgan.
you know, a lot of others are, you know, spotlighting the great work elsewhere in the community. We really want to be a collaborative news partner to some of the organizations that have been fighting the good fight, maybe without the audio resource or the
Right.
platform to talk about it in the same way that, you know, you and I can when we're discussing the news.
Sure. No, that's a good point. And I think, you know, just a shout out to the PMP because that has been a useful resource in the sense that I'm much older than you, never did I see, you know, an outlet or an opportunity for journalists or storytellers.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
not always are they journalists by trade, but they are storytellers who, like you said, have the common goal of getting something new or informative to the city. And I think that's what's so important, that it's not as competitive as it once was. It's collaborative versus
Yeah.
competitive. And
Yeah,
the competition's important. You have to have a little bit of competitive nature, but I think that everyone's going to grow in their own lane.
Then we've
Yeah.
talked about collaboration a lot here in Pittsburgh, and it
Yeah.
does seem to be something that, like, in recent years has really opened up.
Right.
And it's not something that's like I have this story and I'm gonna break it, and everybody's gonna have to come to me for this resource. Sometimes it's like we're not necessarily that outlet
Right.
to break news or do
Sure.
anything necessarily that groundbreaking. But it's like it might be something that we can kind of pass along to like another journalist, and here you take it from here at this point. And I think
Yeah.
that's like one of the best things about having a news outlet in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah,
enough.
or
That's
sparking
a
a
great point.
question and passing it along, as you say. And, you know, some of the other stuff that we try to do, I think, is, you know, in addition to the daily conversation, which is, you know, 10 to 12 minutes, we have a newscast section that we do after that that's, you know, more of like here's what else you need to know today kind of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the plan is to have a Friday News Roundup, which, of course, we would love YaJagoff to be a part of. And that is really, truly, like, just us sitting around discussing, like, what story we could not get out of our head this
Sure.
week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good
That
point.
deserves a
It
little bit more
happens.
attention.
Yeah.
No, that's a great
So
point.
everybody needs to find your podcast and your newsletter. How do they do both?
Yeah, absolutely.
CityCast, Pittsburgh.citycast.fm
Oh, okay.
is where you
Oh,
It is a
nice.
tough- yeah,
You're
it
an
is.
FM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're on social as well at CityCast Pittsburgh, PGH.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
we brought
PGH.
some tote bags here for you,
So
John and
cute.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
These are carry our golf balls home.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to steal them from here because
Yeah.
I
Says
lose
that.
so many of them.
Yeah, so
Don't tell
Instagram
Jan.
and Twitter at CityCast PGH.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
that's
pretty
awesome.
active on there. We're
Yes.
pretty, especially on Instagram. With a lot of events going on this summer, we're trying to be pretty active on both of those. So,
Nice.
yeah, catch us on both of those platforms.
Well, I think we'll return the request and have them come on the radio show to give. I love the idea of like, what's that headline you can't get out of your head? You know,
Yeah,
for the end of the
absolutely. And
day,
you guys have a
so-
lot of space to fill, so we're
Yeah.
happy to
Oh,
help
look
you.
At, look at that! Look at that!
Yeah.
I already admitted. I was like, it's a long day. She's like, oh, I'll get her. No, that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
now
by
you
all
have to
means.
answer our question of
Of
the day.
course.
All
Yeah.
right. So the question of the day, John, and I'm sure you guys have done this, but John and I have that like wording or that cliche that we say all the time. It's our go-to phrase. John always says "right" after he says something, or he'll say,
There you go.
"There you go."
They're my crutch words. They're
Those are your
awful.
catchphrases?
My crutch words are "God love you." which he thinks sounds patronizing. So I'm trying really hard not to do it. Do you have that go-to phrase? I'm not telling you Jan's because it was like super profound.
I do, and I'm ashamed of it.
Go ahead. What is it?
I'm curious. Like, that's my starter phrase. Like, I'm curious.
Right.
Can you say this and this? You know how, like, a lot of guests, especially, they'll tell you, like, oh, that's a good question. And that's their thinking phrase. They say that so that they can compliment you and be gracious, especially in Pittsburgh, because we're very polite. And then they'll, like, it gives them that extra 3 seconds to think
make
about
an
what their
answer.
answer is.
Right.
So that's, I'm curious is my crutch that I start some questions
Look,
with.
you admitted it. And you gave her a lot of
Every
time
producer
to
I've
think.
ever worked with.
I was like, what has mine
Now
been?
she's coming up with one.
say nothing.
I think mine has been, if you like it, I love it, and it just leaves it in other people's laps. Like, if that's what you want, okay. You know, if you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
Which is probably
it's
is
a little
condescending,
patronizing
I
like
know.
mine.
Yeah, I was like,
God love you. God love you.
if you like it, I love it. Yeah.
That was good. I like that. Ladies, thank you so much. We definitely want to have you back, but for sure we will get you on the radio more often so that we can hear what those headlines are that we can't get out of our heads. So make
Absolutely.
sure once it launches, make sure you're listening to CityCast, but follow them with their newsletter.
And you can find us. We are 2 days a week right now,
Yes.
but we will be daily soon, and we'll let YaJagoff know as soon as we push that big red button.
Boom.
Big red button hashtag. Thanks, ladies. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are great.
You guys can feel free to golf more if you like.
And we'll, as soon as we're done with Nick, we'll get your 4 minutes. Okay. So it'll be like another 15 minutes.
Is everything okay
Thank
with
you
the
so
sound? The producer and me is always like,
Oh, yeah. No.
So this part is good. I'm sorry. You know.
Go ahead. No. Just I fade them up and down. Just want to make sure we kind of get at the same level.
No, I
And
feel you.
yeah. No, I get it. And it's yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. All right, Will.
All right.
We're ready for
Nick.
We're ready for.
Or Will.
Yeah.
I said Nick.
Still putt-putting.
Oh. Did you say putt-putting?
He said putt-putting.
I feel like you
I
should
think
not
if
do
Jan,
that. Is
if Jan said
putt-putting
she
a
heard you
word
say
for golf. Putt-putting? Is that a word for golf? Like,
Is that an actual word?
a putt-putt is a type of a golf course, and I'm pretty sure that if Jan heard you called her
Psych.
course, her $86,000 course, a putt-putt,
Putt-putting?
she would be very
I love it,
offended.
Colin, 'cause
You can grab
it was
either
me.
one actually
It's all
works.
me.
And
Will,
just,
welcome.
Hello.
if you don't mind.
Yep. 1, 2,
Okay.
3,
we could turn
4,
him down just a
5.
hair.
I'm loud. 6,
Keep talking.
7,
You'll see it bump up there.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
He's just still
he's like,
counting.
he's like, I'm getting a discount because I count way more. All right, there you go. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, sweet.
Actually, wait, one more time.
Check. I'm excited about Pogo. I'm not
There you
excited
go.
about
Just a
Pogo.
half.
I can't.
All right, try
Get a
that.
little animated. All right, this is Excited Voices.
Yeah.
Adorable
Let's
Voices.
go there.
All
Is
right,
it like
cool.
between 5 and 6?
5 and 4.
Do it a little above 5. Here above 5.
Cool.
Thank you. All right,
I'm
cool.
looking at the
All
summer,
right,
look
ready.
at summer monthly special, $199 a month, and you get so much stuff. I'm just throwing that in there
Nice.
because I was watching the little ads go by.
There you go.
Go ahead, you can introduce
No.
Will.
So we're listening to Nick Barilla, who we'll talk to at the end of the podcast. But this guest we've had on video, and we're kind of missing out on his specialty.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. We sort of put Jan in
But-
a peculiar.
So
like
you've typically given us opportunities to see people jump on pogo sticks 10, 16 feet, whatever, up over cars. They flip over, but that's not happening on the audio version of the podcast.
Right.
Nor are we invited to try to pogo stick because I'm feeling I'll hurt myself even more than golfing.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, without some proper supervision, which we could give for sure, but,
Sure.
definitely more risk.
So talk to us a little bit about what's coming up. We want to get into your whole art of pogoing
Sure.
or pogo sticking, not putt-putting and not pogoing, but we want to know what is the event that's coming
Yeah,
up. so
sure.
that
I mean,
people
we'll
know.
accept any term, whatever. Yeah, but it's a time of year again. So Pogopalooza, the World Championships of Pogo are coming back here to the Pittsburgh area. Our group, X-Pogo, puts them on. So it's going to be 3 days of competition, June 24th, 25th, 26th. And it's going to be pretty mind-blowing. Like you talked about, you've seen it in person, the flips, the high jump, the tricks. Every year, somehow or other, they manage to just kind of take it to a new level. And that's what we're expecting this year. So it's going to be pretty fun.
What is that level this year, though? Like, what's that aha moment? Or do you know?
That's a good question. I think part of...
Will,
Wow.
you just disappoint me.
Uh-oh.
Now I'm now down 1-0.
Oh, no, that's a good question. That was a fair. No. I think that's part of what's exciting about it is a live competition, so
Sure.
you never quite know. You know, last year at our high jump event, which is happening again this year, June 24th in Market Square, 5 p.m., so Friday night, come downtown, hang out. We had a person break the world record for highest jump on a pogo. They were going 11'8" over a bar on a pogo stick, which, you always hope you're going to see a record, but like, it was amazing, full of drama. They have a limited number of attempts, so it was the last try, and the previous record was like 11'2". No one thought we were going to get to that. So, that was just a cool moment for everyone there in person. Like, you can see the video, but just to have that energy of the crowd of like, wow, I just saw a Guinness World Record. I saw a guy go almost 12 feet on a pogo stick. Like, that's pretty cool.
And we have to remind everybody,
nuts.
they're not your typical pogo sticks. But before we go into that, Will, why is Pittsburgh the hub of this? Is it your brainchild? Why, it's awesome. We're all so excited when the Final Four of the college hockey comes here, but we should be just as excited that the World Championships of extreme pogoing is here in Pittsburgh.
No, I appreciate that. It's kind of a number of happy accidents where a lot of us in the sport had ties to here. Our group was kind of based in New York for a while. We were working with this marketing firm that gave us some space. Long story short, that kind of expired. We didn't want to pay rent in Manhattan, so we were looking for a place that we liked, that had been receptive to pogo before, that was kind of central for all the different things we do, and it kind of just made sense, like topographically, geographically, I don't know my words. Pittsburgh's actually really good for pogo in terms of if you're shooting in the street, you want differences in elevation, so you want to be able to jump, from a ledge down. You want to be able to jump downstairs. You want kind of lots of just like industrial concrete you can bounce around. So Pittsburgh is actually a really good place to just go out and pogo around, as opposed to, no offense to Iowa, but like somewhere in Iowa where everything is flat. Mm-hmm. So geographically, it really kind of lends itself. We were able to get involved with this group, Community Forge in Wilkinsburg, and have some space there.
Is that where we were to get you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
That's where the last 2 days of the competition will be, which is awesome. So we were able to get space to actually build a pogo park. Our office, the inside, they let us do whatever. So it's fully pogoable. So in December or whatever, we'll get in there and make videos and all kinds of stuff. So
I'm going to use that word in a sentence this week.
There you go. That's
going to be on our radio show. I'm not kidding.
So
use the word pogoable in a sentence.
So, there's a lot of things. But the other thing, too, is that just, like you said, the energy feels right. Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of offbeat. It's kind of underground. And I feel like Pittsburgh's kind of really embraced that of, like you said, of course pogo sticking championships are going to be here. It just felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
so
highlighted
awesome.
on the YaJagoff podcast.
And again, kind of going over the equipment that you use, these are like these shock absorbers or things like you'd find in a car or a truck or whatever.
Exactly. So it's the same concept. It's like it's the same. I don't know how much that caught up, but I had told him that last year. He's not.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I've had 36 podcasts
yeah.
since, and I forgot.
No, you're
that
good. You just haven't been
fact.
reading up on popular mechanics or whatever. But it's the same idea, essentially pneumatically. It's like a shock absorber. So this company called Vertigo, based here in the U.S., makes these. You like pump them up with a bike pump or an air compressor. Mm-hmm. So these athletes, when they're doing something like that high jump record, they're probably got nearly 100 pounds a square inch of pressure in that pogo stick. So like even me who's okay, like I can barely get it to move if I step on it. And it's crazy. You see these guys boosting 10, 11 feet in the air. So, that being said, that's kind of what people are doing the flips on. We do have something at the event we call free jump, a separate section where you can use spring pogo sticks, kid size, big kid size, or whatever you want to call adults who want a pogo. So, you don't have to just start off with the flip stuff. But if you are interested in just kind of practicing and learning pogo, that's going on the whole time, which is kind of a fun event for the kids.
How do they practice? Sounds like a stupid question, but literally.
No, it is a good question.
That's all. Will, I'm unfriending you on Facebook. If
Go
we're
ahead,
friends.
Will. That's 2 for me. Go ahead.
It's something we get a lot because I'd say there's a few methods. When I mentioned kind of the filming in the streets, like similar to skate culture, that's something that's very big for us. So in the off season or whenever, when it's not Pogopalooza, we'll get together and we'll go around Pittsburgh, or this spring we went down to Arizona and New Mexico, and just try and push yourselves in the sport and be like, oh, those blocks look kind of cool. I think I can, jump down from one and then spin it around my body and go down the other. So like that's a big way they progress. The way we make most of our money, honestly, is we do stunt shows, so stuff like NBA halftimes or whatever, but that actually really gets you drilled and practiced. And then the other, I'd say, is like I mentioned, like our office is like cushioned and pogoable, or we have a relationship with Steel City Parkour, if you know them. Right. And so we'll actually go to the parkour gym and practice tricks into a foam pit, or practice it on their soft surfaces indoors where you're really not going to get hurt nearly as bad. Other people, like kids, when they're starting, they'll literally take a mattress out in their yard. That's how most of the guys who learn how to flip learn. They put a mattress in the yard and did a backflip on it until it worked and didn't get hurt too bad.
I don't mean to be
like
rude,
the
but
phrase,
I hope my kids don't listen.
I like the phrase "is nearly as bad."
Yeah,
they don't get nearly as bad.
But
so in the Olympics with gymnastics, they have like every 4 years you have a certain pattern, a certain routine you have to do because you're judged on that, and then you have a freestyle. Is that what this competition is like, or is everything freestyle?
It is. Essentially, there's three main aspects of it. So there's the high jump, which is pretty obviously just jump high over a bar, land. There's best trick, which is kind of taken from the world of action sports, but it's just like do the single coolest thing you can do. So we had someone, say the winner of best trick last year, he did a backflip off of the pogo stick, rotated his body 360 in the air. Someone caught the pogo stick he backflipped off of, put it back under his feet, I can send you a video of this, and landed on top of it. And this was something he'd been trying for 3 years. So, that's just like, that's a really exciting competition, but that's just like one trick. The rest is what we call freestyle. So we have like a pogo park built out. It's similar to a floor routine, but they don't have any prescribed, things they have to do. It's more or less, how do you interpret the way you can go around this park to best show off the flips and different tricks you have to use these different elements? So it is kind of a very creative process to see how these different people showcase their different skills.
Learned a lot today.
I'm telling you.
All right, remind everybody. Go ahead.
No.
Well, I want to say, remind everybody when the competition is.
Yeah, sure thing.
I'm sorry, Pogopalooza.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so Pogopalooza is coming up this next weekend, June 24th, 25th, and 26th. On the 24th, we're down in Market Square downtown, starting at 5 p.m. That's the high jump. Then the Saturday starts 3 p.m. It's in Wilkinsburg at our headquarters. Just type in Xpogo on Google Maps. It'll pull us up. That is qualifiers for the freestyle, as well as a tech event, which is people using the old spring pogo sticks, kind of keep that alive. Sunday's the last day. That is also going to be in our headquarters in Wilkinsburg, also starting at 3. That's the finals for the big air. It's the best trick finals. And then at the very end, we have something that's pretty fun. It's a 15 and under kids bounce off. So it's open to any kid, anywhere. We have a bunch of sticks. You don't have to bring your own. They all get on. We see who can bounce for the longest. Whoever does ends up winning like a nice new fancy pogo stick. So that's always a really great way to close it out.
Awesome.
For the family and the kids.
That's
and the fans.
pretty awesome. So it's all family oriented and it's free.
Yeah, 100% free. It is world-class athletes. Like, you are seeing the best people in the world at what they do out there throwing down. But, I'm not going to pretend, we're at Hinesfield or PPG or whatever. It's pretty low-key, punk rock, DIY. It's a small community.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a small community of Pogo. Like, I'd say probably 60% of people who really care about Pogo in the world will be there. Maybe 75. Just because it's small. So it's kind of cool to just see like the energy of that coming together. And it is a competition, but it's also kind of a family reunion. And it's really going to be unlike anything I think most people have ever seen. So it's worth it to check out. It's free and it's fun.
I love it. Man.
That's your other. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Right. Yeah.
Where does everybody find you so that they can check it out?
Yeah, sure. So we are on all social media platforms at Xpogo. XPOGO or xpogo.com. So definitely check out there for more information on the event. If you go to pogopalooza.com, like I said, no tickets, it's free, but you can register on Eventbrite, which is nice just in case there are some weather concerns or something like that, you'll get an email just being like, hey, this is how things are shifting.
Nice. How did you do with golfing? You were over on the $86,000 putting green. How did you do?
I definitely was not doing $86,000 worth of quality, but it was a lot of fun. It took me long enough to not fall over on a pogo stick, so maybe golf's the next challenge. But it was really great, just like feeling, myself progress a little bit and working with it. So, I had a lot of fun.
Nice.
Awesome. All right. Question of the day. What is the saying, kind of like what John just did? He goes, I love it. I love it. I do that every once in a while, and I love it. But mine is like, God love you. What's your go-to saying that you say, like, when there's silence? Like, I hate silence, so I'll just blurt out, God love you.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think.
I'm 3-0. I just need to
well,
say,
apparently that's a good one after I get asked the question. So maybe that disqualifies them.
Listen, Will, answer the question or you're out.
I don't know if I know for awkward silences. I know just because I do a fair bit of play-by-play for different things. I'm trying to cut this out of my vocabulary. I just end statements with right there. Like I'll be like, that was a great back.
yeah.
I'll be like, that was a great backflip right there, and then
Yeah.
it jumps up onto the box right there, and it's like not helping anything.
Yeah.
And I'll just be reviewing my stuff, and I'll be like, stop that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we do that.
Nice. Thanks, Will.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
Will.
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Enjoy it.
again.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, we're going to talk to our musician, Nick.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we got Nick, and then we're good. Awesome.
All right, come on in, Nick. And you can either bring your guitar or get it later.
I'll get it in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Yep,
Or I'll
that's
bring it like.
No, Nick.
Doesn't he remind you a
You
little
do
bit of
you.
Ray? A little bit of Ray?
Ray Zawadney.
No? Okay.
You good? She said, are you
did I-
good?
I'm trying.
He said, are you good?
I try. you know. you know.
He said,
Yes,
you good?
me.
Which one do you want?
Either one is good,
I don't mean it.
actually.
I don't.
So we have Nick Barilla. Nick, in between each of the guests, we've been hearing a little bit of your music. And so it has been a long time since you've been on the
4
YaJagoff
years, I think.
podcast.
No way.
Or like 2019, I think it was, or 2018.
I think you're right.
I lost
Is-
like 10 years because of
Was
2020.
he the one at
At the, when you went to the first
the
communion.
So
Yeah.
Cole is, yeah.
We
it's
ate
4
oysters.
years.
We ate oysters, right?
Yeah,
4 years.
and I went to Merchant Oyster like last month for the first time, and I was like, I remember this place, and the guy's still there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Oh,
That was the
yeah,
first
yeah,
time
yeah.
I ever tried
Sorry.
them, actually. They were really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, welcome back.
Sorry, I'm used to holding a music
No,
microphone.
you're fine.
And I'm
You
like,
be
So
sorry.
tell us what has been happening with you since we last saw you. I mean, stupid question, but I have to ask it. Like during COVID, kind of took a dip, or did you
it was
stay
horrible.
active
It was
writing?
the worst 2 years of my life.
But did you stay active writing
yeah,
and practicing?
I started recording from home because I was bored and because like I had the setup. So I bought basically like a MIDI keyboard, and I had an audio interface, and recorded in GarageBand. And so my whole new album's all recorded from home with the help of my longtime producer Dan Blake, who has a schoolhouse that he renovated in Greensburg. It's really awesome.
That's awesome.
And the girl who was on America's Got Talent, Victory Brinker, records there too.
Oh, okay.
And he did her Christmas album and her new single. She's amazing. But with his help, like, and kind of that hybrid. And then I took like a monthly class with Ryan Tedder, who's the lead singer of One Republic, online. Like, I didn't meet him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You pay money, and he teaches you, like, watch this video. So that was cool. I started a podcast, and I stopped it after.
I
Just
was
'cause,
going
like,
to ask you,
yeah.
did you restart then?
So, like, I have not restarted. I basically interviewed all my friends and some other people that I had done shows with over the years. We did maybe 30 episodes, and it was like an hour long. It's a lot of work. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Oh,
It's
well,
a
thanks.
lot of work to edit, and, like, I really loved it. However, as the world got back to normal, I didn't have the time, and I wasn't, like, making money on it. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like one of those things where I could have, like, tried to get sponsors and, syndicated, how I don't know, but, like, it wasn't like my passion like music was, but it was cool to, like, showcase people and, like, talk to people, just like, because you're not around people during
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Right.
So, like,
That's
it
right.
was, like, really cool to just come back down and be like, okay, well, like, you were on this TV show, but, like, we're on the same place right now. Like, we're all human.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That was really cool.
You're so relatable, though. I love talking to you because you're just
Yeah,
you're
you guys are
super
awesome.
conversational. So where would we find you during the day? What are you? You're at a you're music teaching at a church? Is that right?
No, I work at a church as a music director.
Okay.
I'm trying to. So like it's basically your grandma's church, and I'm trying to get it from like. There's beautiful choir and an organ and hymns and stuff like that, but they hired me to be like the contemporary worship leader, music. So we built a whole auditorium with like lights and all that stuff, and we're doing like monthly services right now there, and it's been cool. It's a good thing because I've been leading worship for like 10 years now in churches. Started at Orchard Hill where I grew up in Wexford.
Oh, really?
My dad still works there, and it's cool. I've been to a few different places, and but this is really cool because, like I said, the last 2 years were really hard. I had a really bad concussion that set me down for a year and a half, and I went to UPMC concussion clinic, best doctors, like super grateful to be in the city. But I had like 2 concussions in 6 months, and couldn't.
Man,
even,
you
like,
go to a crazy church.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Do you pogo?
Yeah,
That's my question. Is it pogoable? Is your church pogoable?
probably.
Okay.
So
He's not.
I don't even know. My balance is horrible, obviously, since I've had 2
Obviously.
concussions.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because like I didn't feel like I needed to go. What I'm trying to say about my concussion, it completely changed my life. Like it completely changed my life. All of my like emotions were heightened. Like my anger, my depression, my anxiety, everything. I would get panic attacks in tunnels. I would get panic attacks on the Parkway driving from here to Monroeville. Like it was insane.
That happens to me driving with John. I did not have a concussion, but just
Maybe
driving
get
through
new
a
glasses
tunnel.
or something. Then I went to the doctor to get my eyes checked. They were like, "You have perfect vision. Why are you here?" I'm like, "Really?" Because my eyes were hurting and stuff. But I'm fine. Anyway, so all this to say, like, what it showed me is like I was getting burned out with music before the pandemic. Like playing 3 to 5 nights a week was my full-time job for 4 years. So to get back into things, I was like, well, I'm gonna like apply to churches and try to get something that's like stable. Because in Pittsburgh, it's like an event town, right? So like there's no events happening.
Yes.
And but now that the music's back to normal, it's a little bit busy. My band played Kennywood last month. We did Bakery Square last night, and then.
I love bakeries.
Of course, it was beautiful. They do a great job. And then like I've been at like new breweries and wineries and all these places now, and I'm getting booked more and more. So it's like the balance is harder because I'm working like 2 full-time jobs almost. You know what I mean? But I love it.
Has the spiritual portion of it crept into your music? I'm sure it had to.
So like I have a song called Faith, and so no, you're cool. That's a good question.
It is. Oh, damn it, Nick! It's
What?
not a good question.
It is.
The other guy told me I had 3 good questions, so John only has 1.
So I would say that I'm a Christian who's also an artist, but I'm not a Christian artist.
I got it. Oh,
Like,
okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
there's like bad words in my songs sometimes, not like explicit, but like
Okay.
damn
Oh,
and
it's
stuff
okay.
like that. You know what I mean? Or like hell or something. But, I don't know. I'm Nick Barilla. When it comes down to it, like I said, I had a podcast. I'm a worship leader. I'm a musician, but I just want people to like meet me where I'm at, wherever that is, and like be impacted by what I do. That's
Yeah.
just
Love it.
That's just what I want.
That's awesome. Now, how did you
It's just
golf
funny
over
to hear
here?
You sing it, or you say that because you're always like you're not always churchy. You're not always churchy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, no one's. I mean,
I'm churchy. I just
Listen.
haven't been there in a while.
listen.
I am.
I was raised Catholic,
Right. Same.
and
That's what I
and
mean.
it's
That's what I mean.
very like routine.
Right.
But
that's right.
what I'm like in a gospel centered place, so it's like a relationship. So
Yes.
it's just different.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
It is
and,
different.
and
yes.
I mean, I could talk about that all day. But anyway,
anyway.
but I'm excited about this record. I have a new single coming out called Old Lady. Actually, it just came out yesterday, which I'm going to play here in a minute.
Is it about me?
No, so like no, because you're young. Why would I make a song? I can write a song, Old Man, and make it about you. I had to get him back, right?
Non-churchy old
listen
man,
to me.
according to
Let me tell you
Rachel.
this. Let me
The
tell you this.
non-churchy old man.
If I had a head of hair like you, like
That's all his
look
Zazu.
at that.
Yeah,
You're
that's his
sweet.
Zazu right there.
You guys need a TV show because you don't have faces for radio.
Thank
This is
you.
good.
You're very sweet. You're
You're
very
nice.
Sweet.
I better suck in
All right.
my gut before we do
It's
that.
called Old Lady. It's really the release.
Yes, it
happened.
got released. So it has like a saxophone solo in it that I played because I
saw
played
that,
saxophone
yeah.
for 10 years. It's really fun. And it's just about like love and like
I love
you know
it.
somebody that you love like and you get. I mean, I wrote it during COVID when we were just like sitting down on the couch with me and my fiance, and I'm getting married next year. So we were just like, I was just like, what do I do with these chords? And she kind of helped me like write it, and it's fun. And I don't know. I was trying to make this depressing record with everything that I'm doing, and I was like, you know what? Like, I could do that, or I could like make something happy. The last single that I had, Forever, is also a love song, and it's doing really well. And there's a rapper from Pittsburgh called My Favorite Color who featured on it. He signed to Rostrum Records. It was like Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller and stuff.
Yeah.
He's super versatile. So when I got him on that single, I was like, this is
That's
awesome. And it's doing really well right now on streaming services.
Okay.
So these last 2 singles have been really good, so I'm hoping it like moves me into the future of my career, because I feel like before 2019 it was like this, and then it kind of dipped.
Sure.
So
Understood.
yeah.
All right, where does everybody find you before we listen to you?
Yeah, at Nick Barilla Live on all social media formats.
2 R's, 2 L's?
Yeah, no. Barilla.
He
So
said like
the
the pasta.
Like the
That's
pasta,
right,
yeah.
like the pasta.
But my website's
What-
nickbarilla.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Fabulous.
you can find all my shows on there.
Nice.
I play everywhere that you've probably been in Pittsburgh.
Okay, fair enough.
I play
Right.
everywhere.
Nick,
So,
what is your go-to saying? Like if there's awkward silence, or like you just want to say something, like I said, mine is God love ya. What's yours?
Oh gosh, I feel like I don't. So like if it's a situation where I have 2 people I need to introduce to each other and they don't know each other or something,
my.
then I'm just like very awkward and I don't script anything, and people
yeah.
might think I have like severe ADD, which I probably do, but who knows?
I do
I don't
too.
know, but we all do somewhat,
Yeah.
right? I don't script it, but I feel like. I don't know. How about them Stillers? No, I don't know.
Good. That's a good
No,
answer.
I usually talk about the weather, I think. Because, like, my neighbor will come out to cut the grass or something, and, like, it's all, like, what do you say to your neighbors? Like, I think about Mr. Rogers. Like, what would he say to your neighbors? Like, I love you. Like, I'm not going to say that to my neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. But I just talk about, like, yo, man, like, you were cutting grass in the 95-degree weather yesterday. Like, how's that? Like, why were you out there? And then we start talking about life. Like,
Yeah.
So probably the weather. And I worked in a nursing home for a year.
Okay.
So, like, they only talk about the mail and the weather, older people.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
No,
that's
you're
where I
right.
got that
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know this.
All right, we're gonna
That's
listen
the
to
old
old
man.
lady.
We're gonna
But
listen
in
to
the
old man
meantime,
non-churcher.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me back. You guys do a great job. I'm excited that
Oh,
you're
well,
back.
thanks. You're sweet.
on-
And non-churcher.
Yeah. I don't even know where this is headed, but
All right, we'll hold the microphones for you. By the way, how was your golfing?
oh, I want to talk about this. So I came here to do a podcast, and I'm like very hot right now.
Sorry. Go ahead. I just think it's funny
you're
what he said. Go ahead. You're hot. You're hot?
Not as in like Chippendale's hot. I'm
Okay.
like sweaty. Like I came here and did a workout.
By golfing.
Yeah,
I
and
know, I
but
wanna
let me
try
tell you,
it.
Jan, she's like, I'm not an instructor. She did a really great job.
Yeah,
And she
does.
said you can come here with like your friends and like and I was putting and you can change the green level. Like it made me want to get back into golf.
I never
I haven't
golfed,
played
so
since
I'm
like middle
anxious to
school.
try.
We had like some program.
I'm anxious to try. You go.
Hopefully I remember these words.
Oh, I'll hold.
I'm just a comedian.
You're hysterical. Well, John, the non-church going old guy.
All right. This song's called Old Lady. I hope you listen to it. You're laughing at it. No,
I
no.
know. I'm laughing at him. He's still going.
How beautiful is it out today? Speaking of the weather. All right. This is called Old Lady. You and me, we were cool from the get-go. Fell in love, now I never want to let go. So I keep you close to me. Couple years in the back, think we got this. Looking back, yeah, it feels pretty awesome. I could play this on repeat. Guess I could find somebody new, but what good would it be? All I need is you, laying next to me, my old lady. She's a little bit crazy, but I think I'll keep her around anyway. She still loves me through all of my ugly. She brings out the best things that a man should be. It was you and I never even saw it. Just a kid so confused back in college. Never knew where this would lead. I hated love if I'm really being honest. Show me the ropes, I was hooked for the first kiss. Still it was much too soon to see. Guess I could find somebody new, but what good would it be? All I need is you, laying next to me, my old but I think I'll keep her around anyway. She still loves me through all of my ugly. She brings out the best things that a man should be. I'm just gonna end it here. She brings out the best things that a man should be. The sax solo is on.
I saw it on TikTok. Do you have it on TikTok? Did you just put that on
Yes,
TikTok?
I need to say something else. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Thank you.
I just keep laughing. I don't mean it. It's not
You're
you.
fine.
It's John.
I just wanted to say there was a lot of people that nominated me last year for the Best of Pittsburgh for the City Paper.
Uh-huh.
And I was like one of the top 3 winners. I was like number 3. But I went to this like cool thing. I think you guys were like in it too.
Yeah.
But it was like a cool party. I met like Rick Seaback and stuff. So I'm nominated again this year for
Okay.
it. So there's a link in my Instagram bio. Shameless plug.
Not shameless at all.
You can nominate me and vote me best unsigned artist and pop artist in Pittsburgh.
Boom.
That'd be cool.
This is where we thank everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks to
guys.
Nick so much for coming on. He's one of our favorite music guests. You're an amazing original songwriter. Thanks, obviously, to CityCast, Megan Morgan, for coming on. We can't wait to go do theirs once that launches. Support them prior. They're up 2 days a week. And thanks to Will, who is doing Pogopalooza and taught us a new word, Pogoable.
Yeah.
So we found that to be fun. Definitely check out that event. And thank you so much to Jan and team here at On Par Now.
And thanks to Tracy and Colin behind the scenes, and Colin Chamberlain, who is helping out. And thanks to George Potts from Fifth Influence as well, so who's standing over there. And, of course, thanks to Rorik Honda. Summer 22 is driving people to events and happenings, and Rorik Honda is part of that drive. Expect a beer here pop-up in the parking lot, or visit us at Pierogi Fest, Little Italy Days, and more.
Community is key, and we are proud to be part of yours. As always, visit Rorik.com for all of your vehicle needs, and make sure you are listening to us Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 on YaJagoff on Q on 92.9. Have a good rest of your weekend. Take care.